Hello, hello, hello. I'm gonna rip the rubber off. I'm not in the jolliest of moods right now because I have like a list of people that I want to talk about, right? And some of these people, when I get to them, it's like, oh, I have to talk about him, except in a lot more of a dreadful tone. The subject of today's video isn't even really a wrestler, rather a British television personality that wrestled a few matches as a publicity stunt. But hey, I promise you guys, we're gonna talk about the worst of the worst when it comes to wrestling, so, whatever. At first, I didn't want to do this video, but after a little bit of brainstorming and a little bit of thinking, I decided I probably should and, not do a disservice to the victims. This isn't a case that's been widely exposed to a, Western audience, so I decided I'd take an approach at it and I'd try my hand in it. But anyways, enough stalling. The subject of today's video is Jimmy Savile, or Savile, but I don't really care because he doesn't deserve his name to be pronounced right. As I alluded to earlier, he was a big media personality or television personality in Britain for a while. He was also somebody that had a very positive image in the eyes of the public, but oh my God, it gets so dark the further you read into him. Wow, he did a bunch of charities and fundraisers. He must have touched a lot of people positively in their lives. But he also touched them in a different way. Fuck, why do I do this to myself? But anyway, let's jump into it. He has a bunch of allegations of sexual abuse and mistreatment and harassment and the whole 9 yards, right? It ranges from cupcakes to elderly women as old as 75. Yeah, man, this is real bad. And look, I'm not gonna get into all these conspiracies and stuff, but also apparently the government was covering up a lot of this stuff when it was happening. He was in a position of power, so it was a pretty easy decision to sweep it under the rug, if you know what I mean. It's not confirmed that happened, but when it happens for apparently 6 decades, it makes you think. It makes you really, really think. When there are testimonies of 300 potential victims, oh my God. Also, I know we always start these things with a cage match, but he has a cage match, but he wasn't really a wrestler, so there's not a whole lot to go off of. There's 6 one-sentence comments, and there's just not enough content in there to make it enjoyable for you guys. Savile got his fame through television and radio roles, and then later kept his public image huge by doing things such as charities and fundraisers, as I said earlier. At the time, before all these allegations came out, he was one of the most trusted people on God's green earth, dude. This dude was so well respected that a bunch of parents allegedly left their children alone with him. And like I said earlier, it wasn't just children. He couldn't keep it in his pants for anybody. He is the textbook definition of a freak. Also, random fact about the dude, he was also a member of Mensa, which for those of you that don't know, Mensa is this high IQ society where a bunch of people with the smartest people in the world basically are just in a group together. So we're dealing with someone who is at one point one of the smartest people in the world, allegedly, due to IQ points. But I don't really think IQ points really matter. But this is a testament to that, right? Because it shows that you can have a high IQ but no sense of morality and also no common sense. All that IQ just to not know what the word no means. All that IQ to go after cupcakes, dude. What are we doing, man? Also, IQ is weird because a lot of serial killers have a abnormally high IQ. And some have an abnormally low IQ. IQ is such a weird thing. Me personally, I have a 5 million IQ, but that's just me though, not to brag or anything. According to Wikipedia, I know it's not the most trustworthy service or site, but apparently he came into contact with a lot of his victims through creative projects for the BBC as well as charitable work for the NHS. He worked with a lot of young people as well as, cupcakes, and he visited a lot of schools and hospitals. So basically, he did something that's already very unethical, but did it the most unethical way and went after, the most vulnerable victims. He had the most depraved and most disgusting possible addiction and just couldn't stop. The fact that this sick freak will forever be a stain on the wrestling industry is beyond disgusting and it's distasteful. He had multiple criminal cases opened about him too during his lifetime. What? Something had to be up because how do you not find anything? But real talk though, how do you open these investigations while this stuff's going on and you just don't find anything? I feel in these types of cases, I feel like it's just police negligence. You had to have found something. This is another one of those situations and videos where I'm I have steam coming out of my ears like a cartoon character. There's not sufficient evidence. there had to have been in at least one of these cases. At least one of them. I refuse to believe that in at least one of these cases, you didn't find something, anything. I'm reading that, like, at some point here, they had 200 witnesses. Jesus Christ. Apparently, a few of the victims were, under the age of half of 20. Also, former professional wrestler Adrian Street said in an interview that, quote-unquote, Savile used to go on and on about the young girls who'd wait in line for him outside his dressing room. He'd pick the ones he wanted and say to the rest, "Unlucky, come back again tomorrow night." Dude! So, you saw him and heard him talk about these things, yet you didn't say anything? Why would you wait until 2013 when he's already passed away? Either that hush money was too good, or you're capping, but I'm leaning towards more the former due to the context added into the equation. And apparently, he was refused an award in the 1980s due to concerns about his quote-unquote private life. Oh my God. How did this go on for so long, you degenerates? At this point, the people in power have to have a little bit of blame in this situation. It gets to a point, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist. It just takes a little bit of common sense and a little bit of care about the people in your community to do something to stop this monster. There was 100% evidence somewhere. You can't convince me that there wasn't any evidence anywhere. There had to have been something somewhere. The hush money cannot be that good if that's what's going on here. I don't care if he's this big public figure. I don't care what he does for the country, okay? Be a good person. Put some effort into the case. Don't just half-ass it because it's somebody that's big in your country. I swear, bro, everybody wants to protect the people until it's somebody they like, right? As of 2013, 214 complaints made against Savile would have been criminal offenses, dude. What are we doing here? Let's take a step back for a second. Let's take a step back and let's look at the entire situation as a whole. Huge public figure, great public image to a lot of people, does a lot of things for your country, but also has insane allegations about his private life. Multiple investigations, 30 times the allegations, multiple victims, multiple witnesses. Some ain't adding up here because there's hundreds of alleged victims, but only a select few numbers of investigations or open cases. It's like finding out your girl cheated on you whenever she went on that all-girls trip to Miami. It don't take a rocket scientist. So basically, this is just a never-ending cycle of lies and cover-ups. While I'm not fully saying that this is a government cover-up, what I am saying is that those fundraisers and charities that Savile ran were definitely cover-ups to boost his own image. Cover-ups to mask the dark, sadistic, evil, freak monster that Jimmy Savile was. You know it's bad when you have to have a public figure come out and issue an apology to the alleged victims. This is someone that exploited an entire country. Somebody that exploited trust, public image, and figure. He went after those who were the most vulnerable and those that were the easiest because they just needed to be cared about. UK Secretary of State for Health Jeremy Hunt, when he issued the apology, called him a callous, opportunistic, and wicked predator. Yeah, dude, you're right. But why didn't the people of power in your country try to stop the dude? Why was everything swept under the rug as nothing more than meaningless allegations? Oh, that's right, because you only care when things like this get exposed, right? I'm not just taking a shot at the Jeremy Hunt guy. I'm taking a shot at the entire British government for 50 years. I underestimated his wrestling career a little bit. He had 107 matches. However, it was still all a publicity stunt. 106 of them were sellouts, so I think you can do the math. This guy unironically conned an entire country into thinking he was a good dude because he ran a few fundraisers and did some charities and was also a television icon. Lord have mercy. Why would you ever just put your trust into somebody just because they got a little bit of a name through television or radio or whatever? I'll never understand the people that give their trust to people just because of name value. That doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. There's a lot of really good books and also a lot of really good documentaries out there about the guy if you want to go super in-depth about the scandal. Also, there's the rumor that the BBC covered it all up, but I'm not gonna get into that. I don't like getting into conspiracy theories because I don't know, man. I just don't like getting into controversy, you know? Also, on a different note, his old mountainside White House apparently got burned down in a fire, which, yeah, karma. It was in 2025, and from what I read, nobody was in it, so nobody got hurt, so that's good. What's the 10th track on Sex, Money, Drugs by Lucky? Oh, yeah, that one. I really hate that all I've been talking about recently has just been negativity and depravity and just the bad side of professional wrestling. I'm going to talk about the good side of professional wrestling soon, so don't worry, it's not all bad. The next video is going to be a pretty good one. The sad truth of it is there's a lot of bad stuff that happens in professional wrestling behind the scenes. But the truth is there's a lot of good that happens as well. So basically with this channel, I'm just going to try to cover both, the bad and the good. As for Jimmy Savile, well, this wasn't a happy video by any means. That's going to end it here. Let this video teach you that you shouldn't trust people just because of their public image or their notoriety. Some people just shouldn't be in positions of power, and some people that shouldn't be in positions of power end up getting those positions of power. So long story short, don't let strangers around your children, or really around you for that matter, because it didn't really matter to him. But thankfully for this video, that's going to be all from me. I appreciate you guys for taking time out of your day to watch this video. A large portion of you guys that watch these videos aren't subscribed, so you should do that. You should subscribe, and if you're on the fence about it, allow my friends to attempt to persuade you into subscribing it. Insert video now.
Please like and subscribe to wake
Please
up Noah.
like and subscribe.
Please, I need this.
I beg for you. I beg you.
My
My
mom is
life
kind
is
of
on the
homeless.
line. Please
Please,
subscribe.
I'm Bronson and 5 years old, and when it's 5 years, and I am a degenerate.
Wow, guys, so inspirational, so thought-provoking. But yeah, subscribe. Also, like the video if you enjoyed it, and if I earned it from you, alright, like the video. Join the Discord server and follow me on Twitter right now. Those links are in the description, as always. But yeah, that's gonna be all from me. Y'all stay safe out there. God bless.